So I'm super excited to be doing this garland kit. It takes up a lot of space. So my wine glass essentially is a sippy cup, and we're gonna do our best just to make sure that you can kind of see everything. Yes, Carol, I am live. Hey, Diane. Hey, Rita. See, it always makes me feel so good when I see your names pop up. It's like a little internet hug from my friends. I appreciate it. So I was thinking like where to start. Like there's a lot to do. If you have this kit, you may have seen I did a video of like just some things we can prep in advance. But for the sake of having such limited space, I thought the easiest thing to do first would be the bow while we still have space to work with. So, hey Jennifer. So I figured we'll start with that. I've already done one. So when I do, so this garland really can be used for two different things, okay? And this is a beautiful garland from TMI Gifts. The quality is incredible. We'll get into that in a little while. But so if I'm doing this for a mantle, I really love to have like big bows on either end with like really long streamers. So I already made one. I think I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. And normally if I knew like I had extra of things, I make a lot of streamers. Because I have one set of ribbons, I'm gonna be a little bit conservative with it just to make sure that I don't run out. Hello, TMI Gifts. Nice to see you. So I'm gonna be using the bow maker that Marion's husband made from Garden Charm Boutique. And I love it because it has my name on it in my font. And also it's very easy to like find the measurements. And it's also a bit of a safe space saver. You knew what I meant. All right, so we are going to be working with 3 different ribbons. So the first one is this 2.5-inch wired ribbon. It's flocked. It's got like a risen pattern on it. It almost is like velvety. This is gorgeous. Then we have this sparkly gold, like ooh la la. And then I'm also obsessed with this red ribbon. It is like super luxe velvet on one side and then satin on the back. So we're gonna make sure that we highlight that. We're gonna do all of the tails kind of in different styles to highlight each of the materials. All right, so to start, I'm gonna do a set of tails. And so after this, I do have a video of this like overhead because I know it's not gonna be that easy to see what I'm doing. And as you know, bow making is not exactly my strong suit compared to many of you. So I'm going to be working with some wire, but you can use your chenille stems, you can use zip ties, whatever you feel most comfortable with when you're securing your bow. Hey Dawn, Verlene, Andrea, TMI, yes. Oh, isn't it so cool? So Marion's husband is an engineer and he makes like amazing things. Like, he is such an awesome support, and I just think he's great for the wreath making community because I'm like, yes, everyone needs to be nice to nerds. Not saying he's a nerd, but he's an engineer, so he's very smart. There's a lot of benefits because an engineer also is who soups up all of my easels to make sure that there's like a lot of storage space and that they are easy to transfer when I do in-person workshops. So I always say be nice to nerds. They're gonna be your boss someday. Maybe even your husband. Okay, so we're gonna start with a set of tails using this gold ribbon. And I'm gonna say it's about 2 feet on each side. And I'm just gonna cut it. Hey Millie, I love that you guys are all here. And if you have a kit, definitely put that in the comments, please. I think there's maybe 4 left. And what I love about the kits is that you could use it for your own home and it's cost effective, or you can use it to sell, whether you're doing Etsy, Facebook, or if you are doing installations. Last year I did a few installations, a couple in home, I did a business one, and I really, really enjoyed it. So there's some different ways that we're gonna assemble this. Marion, and we were talking about you and your husband, Mike, I think. Mike. So we're using our beautiful bow maker. All right, so we're going to start with, let me see. We're gonna do a second set of tails using this red ribbon. And like I said, I like really long streamers. I'm gonna be a little bit conservative. I just wanna make sure that I don't run out. You know, we all have like that ribbon anxiety, right? All right, so we're gonna go in with this ribbon, which is gorgeous, okay? And what I especially love about this is you can have wired ribbon that even though it's wired, it's like flimsy. This is not flimsy. This is like very well structured. So putting this on a wreath that's going outside, it's gonna do great, let alone inside. All right, so I'm gonna make my first set of tails. I'm so glad you guys made it. Yeah, Marion, how dare you be late? How dare you? How dare you have a life? All right, so I'm gonna make my first of, let's say 4 5-inch loops, okay? 5 inch is kind of like my sweet spot. I feel like my bows get a little bit floppy when I go to 6 inches, but that's just me. Marion, I should have my ribbon wrangler here, and I don't. I knew I was gonna forget something. Marion's husband also made something so that you can have all your ribbons like stacked up on one thing and not getting all tangled up. All right, so we're gonna make 4 of these 5-inch loops. Yep, Andrea is right on the money. It is so elegant. It's traditional, but it's so luxe. Like it's like velvet, like risen velvet is on top. All right, so we've got our 4 loops. I'll make a tail. Now I'm gonna go in with our red velvet. And I'm gonna make another 4 inches, 4 loops at 5 inches. So whenever I do post the video of me making a ribbon before this, Steve and Bernie were like in a brawl. Like there was just a lot going on. And I was like, take it somewhere else, but they refused. They wanted to battle right under my workbench. All right, so every time I put this ribbon through the dowel, I'm giving it like a really crisp twist. And the reason why is because I don't want the center of this to be super thick because then it's gonna be hard to secure whether you're using a chenille stem, a zip tie, or a wire. I get it through, nice crisp twist. Marion used hers today. The Wrangler. All right. So we're gonna stop here. So 4 5-inch loops. Now we're gonna go in with our pop of gold. There's a lot of shimmer going on here. I think I'm gonna be covered in glitter for a while. All right, so let's make some 4-inch loops. All right, so I'm gonna look on my little marker and let's make 6 of the 4-inch loops. This is definitely going to be different than the video because I realized once I finished I wanted kind of like the green on top. Marion, if I promised myself I would bring everything here, but Marion is like, for the love of God, go get the Wrangler because it prevents this from happening. You know, as much as I try and be prepared, there's always something. But I have been using it for my fall ribbons, my fall bow making. 2. Marion, I hope your husband's not watching because he's probably like, hello. There's something for that. It's like a Shark Tank thing. How can this be done better? All right, so this is my 6th loop with the gold ribbon. Cut the tail. Now I'm gonna go back with our green. He's playing with the printer. Okay, good. All right, so starting on this side, we have a lot of, so for TMI Gifts that's watching, we have a lot of like super, super talented bow makers. And I love, like, sometimes they're shy and then I see what they come out with and I'm like, oh, good Lord, why on earth are you watching me make bows? It must be painful. All right, so I'm just gonna make 3-inch loops. One, two, yeah, learning bow making has been a work in progress, but I do think it's always interesting. Like, I think as crafters, bless you, Bernie. Thank you for coming here to sneeze. One thing I think is interesting is, like, we all try and figure out our way to do things, and they can be, like, totally different and sometimes get the same outcome. Clearly my bows aren't like yours, but the reality is like, we all find, like, methods to how we want to do things. All right, so I'm going to spread out my loops before taking this off the dowel. Hey, Brenda. Carol, you know, I think bow making might be, like, one of the harder... I think it's just like, you just got to practice. That's what I keep telling myself anyways. And people have recipes. So Marion has, I think it's like a 3x2x3. So like recipes that come easy to me, they're not bow recipes, but people have bow recipes that work really well for them. I keep saying that I'd like some of our group members to post a video in our private Facebook group. All right, so I'm going to use my 22 gauge wire. I am going to slide this off the dowel. And then I'm going to put this wire right under my thumb. This is always like a hold your breath moment. So I was watching Lori from TMI Gifts make tree toppers. That woman has like an iron grip. She has like, she's holding it in her hands and they're huge 4-inch loops. They're like 4-inch wide. They must be at least like 2 feet big. They're huge. And she's just like talk about wrangling. That woman has such a gift for bow making. I'm going to try, because I'm always intimidated by the 4-inch ribbon. I'm going to try. She makes it look so easy. I know it's not. I know it's not going to fare that well for me. But it is crazy how refined it looks. And she's just holding it with one hand and doing it. It's amazing. All right, so I'm going to fold up my bow maker. And before I fluff all my loops, I'm going to be putting a little finish on each of these tails a little different. So for our flocked green, I'm going to dovetail. So I'm just folding it in half. Open sides this way, cutting up at an angle, so this pretty little triangle. We're going to do that for each of the 4. And let's see. One more. I think it's super smart that I'm reading comments while using scissors. Because, you know, I can't say that there's workers' comp here at Enchanted Vines. All right, now for the gold, I'm just going to cut this up and diagonal to each of the tails. A little variety here. And then I want to take advantage of the fact that this ribbon is beautiful on both sides. So it's kind of like a little pop of a surprise. So I'm going to take the ends of each of these, and instead of cutting them a certain way, I'm just going to fold the bottom so you can see that there is velvet then satin. Okay, if there's like a little wire hanging out, just trim that. But yes, I mean, this is very, very much designer quality, designer look. I have been dying at this whole demure trend. Like once I once I thought I knew what it meant, but then once I like read it, I was like, oh no, that is not a trend that will ever be in my world of designing. I also have taken minimalism out of my vocabulary. All right, so now I'm gonna go through, starting in the back. I'm just gonna take my hands and just fluff up each of these loops. Again, this is the style that we're gonna be using on a mantle. So it's gonna hang off of either end. So it's gonna be a separate video. I'm gonna show how I secure them to a mantle. And if you are somebody who's considering doing any type of like installation, there's a few areas of caution. One is like, I don't put any command hooks on people's walls because it took off my own paint. And you wanna just kind of check the surface. You wanna make sure that it's safe. You wanna make sure you have permission. You know, usually just doing like the actual mantle is, you're not gonna do any damage. However, like if you pulled off paint off a wall, then, you know, we got a problem. All right. Scroll the ends of the red. Oh, so Marion, there's this trend, and it started on TikTok with this woman saying like, you know, I'm demure, basically saying like she was refined, like she doesn't wear a ton of makeup to a job interview, she doesn't have like the girls out, like everything is just very conservative. And I am more like more is more, not with the girls or the makeup, but when it comes to designing, I feel like if you're gonna celebrate, like I want to celebrate. All right, so here is our bow. Okay. And now we're going to move on to the star of our show, which is our garland. Speaking of crusty ears, I have no idea why you guys are talking about that. But the other, so I have hummingbirds, and I take my job very seriously to keep them fed because they come back every year, and they're getting ready to go down south soon. So one of their feeders was completely empty, which I thought was odd. So I refilled it, and I make my nectar at home. My mom next door doesn't, and I always put her to shame that she doesn't care enough. But so I filled it up. It had like 2 cups of sugar water in it. And later on at night, I looked, and it was empty again. And I'm like, well, there's no way those 2 hummingbirds ate all of that. So it happened to be that one of my shepherds had pulled the feeder down at some point and punctured it. So all 2 cups, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is, ran down my porch. And who do you know was under my porch eating that sugar water? It was Bruno. So when Bruno came in at 7 o'clock at night and it was starting to get dark, his ears were like rock candy. Like he was in heaven. He thought it was great. He was all sticky and it was a mess. And I had to like wash him out front in the dark. It was cold. He was not happy. So yes, again, like rock, those are crusty ears, rock candy. Marion, we'll get into that video in a minute. All right, so I had done like a prep video. So if you did your homework, if you have a kit, we talked about fluffing, okay? So like, and we do this with our artificial trees, but when we get things like this, usually they come real compact. And so what we wanna do is we wanna make the most out of these materials and fluff them up. So a few things that I love about this garland is, one, the coloring is like soft and natural. It feels natural, it looks natural, but I love these leaves. I don't know what they are, it might be on the sheet, but this is something that, you know, when Christmas is over and you strip everything down and your house feels like naked, this is the type of thing that you can keep up. And then it kind of brings like that woodland feel in, like you're not rushing spring, but you're also like letting Christmas go. So this is something that whether it's on my table or on my mantle, it's gonna stay up until like it's spring. So when you're fluffing, you're just going through and just spreading out all of your branches, right? And there are so many different materials in this kit. I was trying to figure out like what to use first. And I think what we're gonna go with first is going to be our red berries. So these came just bundled, okay, but all the stems are separate. This is a ton of berries. And TMI Gifts, I don't know if some of these items are available like not in the kit. If you know, let us know. If you don't, then just pretend you didn't hear me because I'm putting you on the spot. The garland is in the kit only. So some of these materials are tied to the kit only. I don't know if some are not. So when I'm working on garland, I like to use these 4-inch zip ties. I'm not super comfortable with like using a glue gun like willy-nilly on plastic items because it's going to damage them most likely. So what I like to do is I'm going to use zip ties to attach them. And if this is for my own home, every year I do a different theme. So I don't want to glue it anyways. So if you're, making this for somebody and you're shipping it, what I would recommend is use the zip tie first, right? And then if you want to go in and put like a dab of hot glue, that's how I would do it. Okay, so I'm just trimming this and I'm going to have my berries going a little bit beyond. Make sure you can see. Okay, it's going to trail a little bit beyond our garland. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap it right around the center stem of the garland. The other thing is if you're doing this at home, all of these materials are super malleable. So like if you want to not use any zip ties and you just want to take a piece of the pine and just use it to hold something in place, like it will hold it. So, if you have pencil trees, you probably know what I'm talking about. You can just use the material here if you want. All right, so we're going to go to our next. What we're going to do is we're going to stagger 3 of these stems. And like we're really building up this base. Oh my gosh. So for TMI Gifts, I don't know if I'm speaking to Tiffany or who, but Andrea is not a wreath maker or a designer. She designs with me, like we do custom projects together, and Andrea has the most over-the-top imagination, like so not demure. And I love it because she always pushes me to a place that I probably wouldn't go. So we love having her as part of the group. She is amazing and she is incredibly creative. So this Friday when we do our live, we're actually going to be designing Andrea's custom fall wreath, which is going to be starring a lot of pink pumpkins, pink velvet, all the things, all things pink. We do. I love a big imagination too. All right, so I am gonna flip this over. This garland is like 6 feet and my table is 5. So I'm just gonna make it work. We're gonna start from the outside in again. And I'm just trimming these. And these are really nice quality. They have like a nice coating on them. So like if you're looking for this, whether it's for a wreath or for a garland, if you were gonna apply like UV spray or have these outdoors, like they're going to weather well, as opposed to ones that are just like that exposed foam. I know the exposed foam ones can be cute, but they have an expiration date on them. All right, so I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 again. So we're gonna meet in the middle. Hey, Miss Nikki. I have not started doing Christmas, but TMI Gifts sent me a super cool thing that I'm going to kick off Christmas with, and I'm going to show you guys at the end because I love it. And actually, Andrew's going to love it. So we shall see. Pink is like the trend this year, and I love it because I love traditional, but I also love non-traditional. It's nice to have something like to mix it up. That's why I enjoy my pencil trees, is because each of them are different. I have, I put like 4 up a year, And I love mixing up the, you know, what the color palette is and the ribbon and all that stuff. All right. So here we go. Right now we have all of our berries on. I can't even, yeah. We did a Halloween challenge last week and that totally pushed me out of my comfort zone. But that's what we need, right? All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do is, let's see, we are going to grab these super sparkly leaves, and there are 4 of them in the kit. Like, I was pulling the kit apart today, and I'm like, I felt like Oprah, like, one for you, one for you. You get a glittery pick. You get one. There's so much stuff in this kit, so I know, like, it might seem a little pricey, but when you see all that's in it, if you're gonna source these items yourself, the garland alone is very expensive, very great quality. So, like, I tend to get my garland from Jacobson's in Boston, which is like a really well-known, well-established. They sell like real florals and faux florals. Their stuff is very expensive. I mean, if you want quality, you're gonna have to pay for it. If you have clients that, you know, appreciate quality and they recognize quality, then like these are the types of materials that you want to be using. All right, so I'm going to overlap this. I'm gonna try and keep things facing forward so that you guys can see it. Yes, definitely worth the price. Who is on this call that has the kit? I know Carol ordered hers yesterday, so I think she'll be watching this on replay or just doing her thing because Carol is very, very creative and comes up with some beautiful, beautifully unique designs. All right, so again, just using our zip tie. These two, very malleable, okay? So you're gonna make these work the way you want them to work, and you don't wanna be afraid that you're gonna break them. They're just not like that. They're not flimsy like that. Everything, like if you bend it one way and you realize that's not what you want, you just bend it right back. It's all good. And I'm not saying that things in local craft stores aren't good, but it's like, it's hit or miss. Like, and we know that. Like, we talk about, you know, some stores we need to go to in person because you're not really sure what you're getting. And all of these materials, I 100% stand by. Oh my God. Thank you. I have to say so today I had like my roots done and there was another ginger. I mean, I'm like a faux ginger, but that's not the point. But oh my gosh, this ginger, like I stopped and I was like, your hair is gorgeous. Gorgeous. All right, so I'm gonna spin this around. And start on our second side. All right, so we're just repeating, and we're not going all the way to the edge, so I just want to make sure I'm mirroring things, you know, like when OCD is a gift, you want to make sure that things are evenly balanced. So I'm going to overlap it on the berries, but it's not going to go as far out. Amy Hoffman, stop it. You're going to make me blush. Speaking of people that I keep saying, post a video of you making bows. Amy, I believe, works in a school, so I feel like she has had a busy week. Am I right, Amy? Or maybe more than a week. I think it's so awful that kids have to go back to school before Labor Day. Like, we never had to do that. Not only that, but that also cuts, like, the parents' summer short, too, because then they can't do things like, and I'm sure Friday's a half day. I don't get it. It just seems unnatural. So Andrea is saying this thing is huge and how would we hang it? And I did did forget to bring them down, but I use the command hook. They're called cord bundlers, and I use them for a lot of different things. Like you can put them on an appliance if you don't want the cord showing, but they are great because there's a lot of flexibility. So in addition to this video, I'm gonna like do a video of how I would put this on my mantle, or I am gonna put it on my mantle, and then also how I would use it as a tablescape. Well, so that's the thing with the command hooks, they have a weight limit. With the cord bundlers, I use a mix. So like if I want, I'm gonna put something on the ends, and then I'm gonna put something in the middle. The last thing that you wanna do, like I did an install at a restaurant last year, a haunted restaurant, mind you. Every time I do a workshop there, I refuse to look up. Like it's been on like ghost shows. It's a beautiful restaurant. I'm just like super scared of the paranormal. So anyways, I put, so the ghosts do like things there with like Christmas decorations. And so I was really afraid of like everything falling apart. Not that a ghost can't undo whatever I've done, but I like went crazy with the command hooks just so there wouldn't be any confusion as to like if something fell down or any of that stuff. Okay, if you saw my prep video, I have taken a dab of glue. These are all prepped. This is like on cooking shows where they pretend they're doing something, but it's already done. So I took a glob of glue or a dab of glue on each of these. So these caps, these are very secure on these. I tried to pull on it. It didn't come off. But in general, you know me, I have trust issues with security things. So I want to make sure that if this is going out, that there's absolutely no way that this top is coming off. Okay, so I put some glue on each of these. And then I'm going to use my fishing wire. And I use fishing wire. You can also use, holy cow, did I catch a fish? You can also use floral wire. I like this just because it's clear. But what I like to do is bunch these. So if you're going to bunch ornaments, you can do it. I like to do different sizes or like different finishes. So one might have kind of like, you know, glitter, one might be opaque, one might be matte, something like that. For this kit, we're going to be going all glitter. So we're going to take a set of 3. I'm really testing my eyesight at this point. 1, 2. Andrea is a sweetheart. Except, Andrea, that squirrel, that little baby squirrel that was on my leg would not appreciate you. He was not a rat. All right, so I've taken these, I've bunched them, I've tied them off. Okay, and now I'm gonna put one set on this side. So yes, when I moved my daughter into school, there was this tiny, tiny baby squirrel that was running loose in the dorms. If you've ever moved a child in to a dorm on move-in day, it is stressful for people. So this little guy was exhausted. He was scared. He was dehydrated. And we put him on the ground to get him. He was in a shoebox outside the door of the dorm, which I didn't think was a good idea. So we went to put him near a tree. And when my daughter put him down, instead of running up the tree, he ran up my leg. And he's chilled there for like 20 seconds. He was super cute. We ended up leaving him in a tree safely, and we checked on him. We brought him some water. It was hard leaving him, but I know that he also would look very similar to a chew toy for Bruno. So I said, I think it's best that we make sure he finds his way back to his mom. Oh my gosh. I was wondering why you said hi, Mr. Webster. Wow, good thing I wasn't talking any smack about my husband. Harry has never gone on here before. And just remember, whatever you say on here, I know where you live, so that's right. Let's see. I liked it better when you guys were calling him, what were you calling before? Like Mr. Cara, like happy birthday, Mr. Cara. I think that had a nice ring to it. All right, now he's just playing up to the crowd. All right, so we're taking our second set of 3 ornaments and we are tying them off. This is also great for doing your trees, like if you're doing your full-size tree or your pencil tree. Grouping is a great way to fill in like gaps and not have it look like something is sparse. And these are shatterproof, only use shatterproof. Again, it's not worth the risk, and shatterproof ornaments honestly are just as beautiful as glass. Like you can't tell. Like I always have to tap things to tell. Oh, Harry, you're a ham. You're a ham. See, my husband literally makes me drink. Pushes me to drink out of my sippy cup. All right, so we're gonna repeat that here. And we're gonna go down to pretty much where this first one ends. Can you guys see this? And we're gonna tie this on. Now you might decide you wanna do these in different steps. I kind of like tried to do a walkthrough earlier because there are so many materials, I wanted to make sure that everything kind of had a chance to shine. And so I wanted to layer them in a way that things are kind of like front and center. Okay, so you may notice that the center of this is still pretty empty, and that is by design. So the next thing that we're gonna put in are these glittery pine cones. And if you're somebody who does swags, these things are perfect. Whether you separate them or not, I mean, you can bend these whichever way you want. You've got the length. You can see that they're beautifully frosted. I love that they're like brownish copper because that's kind of been like where I've been gravitating. At least last year for Christmas, I was like, that was what I did. My whole house was like copper and bronze baubles. So these I love. So again, just doing things so that they're not getting lost. So I'm going to put one closer to the middle. This is why like zip ties are just the best thing. I feel like zip ties are like the equivalent of men and duct tape. Like I never use duct tape, but I will zip tie anything I can to anything I can. And when I do my in-person workshops, it's like all zip ties. And if it's quiet, like I call the ladies out. I'm like, listen, I don't hear zipping. If I don't hear zipping, then that means you're not doing it. And like sometimes people haven't used zip ties yet before. So I'm like, take one and waste it and just feel the beauty of that zip. So in using like the 4-inch green zip ties, I am going to go back and I'm going to clip any of the tails. However, like they're camouflage. You know, we always want to use mechanics that people can't see how it's created. It just makes it look more natural. Even when we're doing things with glitter, we don't want to see, you know, a bunch of like, we don't want to see glue. We don't want to see wire. We want to keep all of those things kind of hidden. So we're just focused on the parts that we're looking to have shine. All right, so I'm going here. Can you see that? I'm going to scoot this down a bit. Harry, if you're on, we have a dog barking outside, in case you can't hear it. This is great. I could be like, bring me a snack. Bring me some gummy bears. If you're on, I know you can hear me. All right, so we've got our pine cones on. Next up, we are going to be doing pretty much the star of our show. What this entire kit was based on was this emerald poinsettia with the jewels. I have never seen anything like this, and I am totally smitten with it. It is gorgeous. Okay, so this is like the focal point. We're gonna surround it with our red poinsettias, which are giant, but still, like, is this not a mood? Harry hasn't cooked dinner in, I don't know if Harry's ever cooked dinner, honestly. He certainly hasn't cooked dinner in 15 years, I'll tell you that much. All right, so I wanna just prep my poinsettias by fanning out our petals. They're nicely wired, okay? And you just wanna make it look as big as possible. So we spread them out accordingly, okay? Like, look at these. They are like, they fill a space so beautifully. So these poinsettias are only available in the kit. Okay. So I'm just gonna trim these because I wanna just have a particular way that I wanted to place these. Okay, so what I wanna do is frame out our emerald poinsettia. So before I do anything with the zip ties, I want to make sure that these are in the right spot. And also, since these are wired, you can also use them and wrap the stems around your garland. And then this is going to be on top. Let's see. I want to keep some height on this one. Okay, so let me just pull this back a little bit to make sure you guys can see it. Thank you guys. I'm so glad you like it. Big kit. I need a bigger workspace. Okay. So right now, this is what we're working with, okay? It's gorgeous, and we're not done. I feel like that guy, but wait, it's more. Like, that's exactly how I feel because it's just true. So we still have 3 remaining ornaments. And what I'm gonna do with these is I wanna use them partially to frame this out, but also to support the way that the poinsettias are. So I might need to come around front for this. Yeah. So what I want to do is I'm going to take my zip tie, and if this is a little snug, then obviously jump up to a larger zip tie. I'm going to put one under here. And then I'm going to go to the other side. Here. So also, if you make wreaths, sometimes when you have a certain material that you need to ensure is going to stand up, you can use other things to support it to just make sure it's keeping that shape. Sorry if my head is blocking you. Okay. Ugh, I love it. Let me grab Bruno real quick. If Harry was on, he jumped off because he is not here. My boy asking to come in. No. Bruno's going to boarding school very soon, and you can probably see why. Why don't you lay down, big guy? I'm just waiting for him to just run through every wire and unplug everything. All right, and then this last ornament, I'm actually going to secure it to our green poinsettia, so it's up on top. Let's see if that works. No, I don't want it hidden. So let's see, I'm going to put it down below Bruno. Hi, big boy. I know, but we can't. No. We can't be doing this now. Go on. Ooh, he just walked through every wire and didn't undo one. I'm impressed. Okay, so I'm gonna put this up top. Okay. Do you guys remember, like, I don't know, as kids, if like somebody joked that if your tooth was like wiggly, that you would tie a string around it and then somebody would like shut a door? So last night, and I'll work while I'm talking. Last night, Bruno took a piece of paper towel out of the trash. Like, he opened the door because he's just so smart. He took it out of the trash, and it like was one that I used to dry fish, so it was disgusting. I pulled it out of his mouth, and one of his incisors came out. He's losing his teeth anyways. It was a wiggly tooth, but I was like, oh my gosh. It was something. So I have the tooth. What am I gonna do with it? I don't know, but I was like, well, I don't know what the tooth fairy is gonna bring you, big guy, but you deserve something after that. Okay, how fun are these? Okay, this is champagne glitter, like glitter sparkles. I like champagne best because that way someone you don't have to worry about, does this person just have like gold? Do they have silver? This is like the perfect like in between. It's gonna work for anybody's home. And in a pencil tree, which I'm gonna do a pencil tree demo at some point, putting these in between the branches throughout is just gonna be like money. It's gonna be absolutely stunning. And actually, I feel like Lori has already done it, so you could even check TMI and see. Marion said workspaces are like purses. They're never big enough. I love that. All right, so what I want to do is I want to take advantage of like the action here and the movement. So the middle is kind of like our celebratory point. So what I want to do is attach this in a way that it is going to stand. So right now I'm actually going to use the garland itself to hold that up. This is like, I think of like a champagne like toast or something like that. Yeah, let me see if I can make some space. Of course, this computer is ginormous. Let's see, he's part of the problem. Okay, so now we're gonna repeat, right? And I can't wait to go back. I can always go back and read your comments. So if I'm missing them, which I know I am, I'm definitely going back. So you guys always crack me up. I love seeing it. Okay, so again, I'm going to use the garland for this. I want to make sure that it's standing up. Use garland, and then to like do a final like securing of this, I will put a zip tie on it. Okay, then we have two more. And these are, aside from our big bows, which are made up of the 3 ribbons, these are the last elements of this kit, but like you can see just how chock full this entire thing is. And I will back up the camera so you can kind of see it. And I also can't wait to show you guys what it looks like on a mantle, because it's gonna look stunning. You know how like there are certain places that you tour to see their Christmas decorations? Like your neighbors are going to want to come over your house to see this. And then we're going to just repeat and have this kind of at the end. And give it a nice bend. Bruno looks defeated. I don't know if you guys know, but dogs' ears go down when they're losing their baby teeth. I just closed my window real quick by accident. So right now, Bruno's ears were up and steady, but now that he's losing his baby teeth, his second round of baby teeth, his ears are all flopped down again. Okay. There are so many different ways to work this kit, and you can see that when you have supplies like this, it all comes together like very, very easily, I would say. I mean, if I wasn't yapping while I was doing this, I mean, I enjoy doing this, so I never rush when I'm making garlands or tablescapes. But it just fills everything up. You know, you can make this whatever you want it to be. The garland is like the foundation, and then you build whatever style house on top of it that you want. What I love about this garland, again, is that because the garland itself is so beautiful, when you want to be done with Christmas, you can leave this garland like freestanding on its own. Did I just close it again? I just shut the window again. So this computer, if you touch the screen, it also responds like an iPhone or whatever. For years, every time I've tried to show my mom something on the computer, she has hit the screen, and I've been like, for the love of God, woman, it is not a touch screen. This one actually is, and I keep touching it by accident and shutting it down. Okay. Okay, we're back. Let's see if I can put this down. All right, so we've got our last piece. I'd love to know, are you guys like all about like the sparkle for Christmas? Do you like that like more woodland, you know, like more natural look? Are you demure? Or are you a more is more kind of person? What's your style? So because the way we're doing it for today, or for tonight, this is gonna go on a mantle. So on either end of this, and I did these both two different ways, so obviously I'll be correcting that, but these are gonna hang off the very ends. And what I like to do is, if there's a little bit of extra hanging off, and it might even just be the berries, because usually I think mantles are about 6 feet long, and this is 6 feet long. You wanna have this just like dangling off the edge. So I'm gonna put this on, and I'm just going to wire it directly to the garland. And have this be like a cascading element. And also on the end of this garland is like a hook. So again, if you're using a command hook, you would just feed that loop right through it. And then the other end does not have a loop, but you would just use your garland and feed it through. All right, so let's see how much of this you guys can actually see. Back things up. And again, you can style this however you wish. I thought having the poinsettias in the middle, like a concentrated focal point, I loved, but you can also spread them out. You can do your ribbons a different style if it's for a tablescape. So this is our garland, guys. Again, beautiful. I humbly say so myself. So I'm gonna back up the camera, but I wanted to show you, actually, let me do that first and give you the full thing. So if you get motion sickness, just close your eyes for a second. Okay, but you can just see like how full and how much texture is here. And we've got the natural elements. We've got all this bling. Like again, like this is, Santa will be coming to your house first just to check out your mantle, okay? Here we go. I hope you guys like the garland. And then I wanted to show you something special that I got from TMI. And this was just a treat that came in the mail. And there was a note from Morgan on it, which I think Morgan is adorable. And oh my gosh, her fashion is also very, very cute. Very cute. So I believe there might be a kit made by Lori for this. But this is the 12 Days of Christmas, okay? So this sign, it's heavy duty. It's already got the hole punches in it. But what I love most about it, and it kind of has a description on it, is whatever theme you want to go with, you can choose it. There's like, obviously 12 Days of Christmas, there's 12 options. So say you want to focus on ballerinas, you want to focus on nutcrackers, you know, whatever it is, drummer boys, you can really just pick one item from this, from the 12 if you want. Or you could do a whole thing. Like Lori's doing a whole 12 Days of Christmas where she's doing all sorts of different designs based on, I think she's doing like one at a time. So I have something fun and stored for this. I ordered a white pine wreath, which I think is gonna be super cool. And I'm waiting on a few other things. So this, I believe, is gonna be my first Christmas design because I'm like so inspired by it. So let me know what you guys think, okay? I love it, it's beautiful. All right, let me see. Let me check this out. All right, guys. Carol. Yes, I love to put up trees like in pretty much all like the downstairs areas of my house too. I love having a pencil tree in the corner in the kitchen, in the dining room. I like to put one up on the landing because I have, you know, one of those like windows over my front door, whatever that's called. But yes, Andrea, I know. This is a pink Christmas sign and it's got gold on it and it's beautiful. Like, look at the wreath. I mean, you know, each state has its own Christmas symbol and I'm just proud to say New Hampshire is a wreath. And when are we gonna get a wreath emoji? Like for all the things that there are emojis for, which I won't even like start to ramble off, like why is there not a wreath emoji? Somebody's gonna get on board with that from Apple, but yes, so this is gonna be my first Christmas design once that white pine wreath comes in, and we'll go from there. So, Andrea, this might be for you. Carol, did you see, yes, we do need a wreath emoji. Carol, did you see Lori work with this sign? Because she's like doing wonders. And I definitely encourage you, if you're not already following TMI Gifts online, like whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, they're doing amazing things. They're getting new products in all the time. And I'm not just saying that just to say it. I mean it. I shop there when it's not related to kits. It's one of my favorite go-to places. So they're always getting in new products. Lori is, again, a whiz when it comes to bow making, creating, and designing in general. So definitely check them out for some inspo. If you do any shopping with TMI, you can use the promo code KARA20 and you get 20% off. So I think there were 5 kits left, maybe. I have glitter on my nose. These kits originally are valued at $300, then they were marked down to $150, and then if you apply the code, it comes down to $120. So if you were doing an installation, these are worth several $100s. Like, I mean, I could see this, you know, I don't want to like, it depends on who your client is and all that stuff. But I mean, like, I'm gonna say between like the $300 and $500 range. And if you're doing an installation and it's taking up time, like it could be even more than that. So there's beyond value in this kit. And, you know, again, I spent a lot of time picking this out and working with TMI Gifts, and I appreciate the opportunity to do something like so grand, so not demure. I'm very happy with it. I'm really excited to do some follow-up videos, again, to show you how to display it, what I use to secure it, all those good things. So, all right. Yes, Cara 20 for 20% off right now. Oh, there's only 4 kits left right now. So if you want to get it on a kit, I would say grab it. Whether you want to use it as a garland for this, if you want to use the materials for different things, you know, you want to do it for your wreath making and do a garland. Like, again, all of these products are absolutely amazing. So I want to thank you again, TMI Gifts. Thank you to all my peeps for showing up. It does mean so much to me when I see your names pop up. I always appreciate the support. That is what I love about this group, is it is filled with a lot of creativity, but also a lot of kindness, and I am just super grateful. So thank you guys so much. I will wish you a good night, and I will see you on Friday. We're gonna work on Andrea's custom pink fall wreath. All right, bye guys.